Alright, I promised more videos, so here we go. This time it's Zur against Yisan, the Wanderer Bard. I've heard a lot of hype about this guy. I haven't played enough against it to really make a determination either way, but I'm told that it's crazy powerful and certainly strong enough to merit a banning in French EDH, where I guess the slower format means that a creature that can combo kill you by fetching creatures out of your deck around the third or fourth turn of the game is oppressive. I haven't played against it too much online though, and obviously the mono green general of choice that I use is Omnath, who I think is pretty universally powerful and doesn't really require any other support, but I guess Yisan can be pretty strong. Anyway, looks like he's going first, and I think he has a single mulligan. I have a very, very good serviceable hand, 2 colors of mana and an impulse to ensure getting a third, as well as a strip mine to slow him down. So we'll see what he does. Finhorn Elves. Alright, well, that's going to change things a little bit. Alright, well, I drew another land, which is very good. Alright, so the decision here, obviously, is to strip mine or not to strip mine. Now, he mulliganed, so he only has 4 cards left in hand. He didn't play any land that telegraphs to me that he might not have any more land in play. That's often a really good way to determine if you should strip mine on turn 1. If someone plays a land that sort of equates to a tell, i.e. a land that comes into play tapped when they might want to have something to do on turn 1, or a land that produces just colorless mana, it's often a good indicator that they may not have any other lands in play, and that strip mining can either win the game on the spot for you or at least get you so far ahead that they're not going to be able to come back. Obviously, you don't strip mine when you're planning on developing to a certain point, and you might cripple your development, especially when it comes to ramping out to signets or things that cost 3 mana. And I've certainly won a fair share of games by having someone strip mine me prematurely when I had too many lands in play, and I've lost my fair share of doing that as well. So it's always a tough determination to know when to strip mine on turn 1, especially when your opponent's played another mana artifact. But one other rule I like to follow generally is, do I feel that the spells in my deck are stronger than the spells in my opponent's deck, and do I benefit from stalling the game? And if the answer to that is yes, if you're trying to play a longer game strategy, it often is correct to strip mine, just because stunting their growth and drawing to your more powerful stuff is going to be more impactful in the long run. So in this case, looking at the fact that I do have 3 colors of mana as well as the impulse, meaning that I'll probably hit my 4th land drop on time, I'm going to gamble that he doesn't have a second forest and go for this strip mine play. We'll see how that pays off. Alright, so he does have a forest, but he needs a second one to go with his Wanderer Bard, but he does have Skull Clamp, so he can clamp his elf if need be. But it did prevent, at least prevented the turn 2 Yisan from coming out, and sure enough, when I talked about powerful cards, I clearly knew that I was going to top deck Soul Ring. I'm going to put that out there. He does have a 3rd land, so Yisan's going to come out. Okay, so I could just ignore it, figuring it doesn't really start to get strong for the first 2 or 3 turns. But I don't want him meddling around and messing up my artifacts by fetching out things that even cost potentially 1 mana that could kill my artifacts. I guess he could get, I don't know, Scavenger Folk or something. But this thing's a big enough threat, given the fact he only has 3 cards left in hand, and would need 5 more mana to recast it. I'm pretty confident that if I can get it out of the game, I may not have to deal with it for a good while, because he may not get to 5 mana for quite some time, and by then I'll have Zur going and it won't matter. So I'm going to Mystical Tutor during upkeep and just go straight for the Swords of Plowshares play. Fetching right now because I've got all 3 colors. So Yisan's out of there. 4th land. Alright, what's going on? Azusa. Alright, well, with 2 cards left in hand, that's not too scary. And he does have another mana, so he does have 5. And the ability to replay Yisan, but it's going to be too slow, I think. He's clamping, which makes sense to me, given that he's got Azusa out. And he did not hit another land there, so he cannot cast the Bard now. Chrome Mox, that's quite handy. Alright. So I gave some thought here to whether or not I wanted to imprint the Chrome Mox right now. And looking at his board, I figured, well, the only thing that he could possibly have here that green might have for potentially 5 mana that could deal with Zur, I guess outside of a random narrow range of extremely bad green cards that they print periodically that kill flyers, he could have Beast Within, and that does give him a route to potentially win the game. If he casts Beast Within on Zur, and I'm unable to get mana out effectively in time, or he's able to cripple my mana some more, I might wind up in a situation where I'm not able to replay it. So I'm not going to take that risk. I don't need the Impulse anymore. Don't really need the Cryptic Command either. So I'm just going to put this out here. And I think I imprint the Impulse. Given just the Cryptic Command has a little bit more mileage, and I can cast it now that I've got a third blue off the Chrome Mox. Just, disaster insurance, really, more so than an Impulse. So I'm doing this to protect against Beast Within. He draws Strip Mine. So remember what I was saying about potential land destruction keeping me off of Zur mana. There's a Strip Mine right on schedule, and sure enough, he Strip Mines my Underground Sea. And he says, done. So untap. Draw Mox Diamond, totally useless right now. But I get to attack. And if one thing Zur is good at doing, it's winning the game when you get to attack. And look at this, 3 mana, sure enough, he has Beast Within. So putting out that Chrome Mox and imprinting my card to protect with Spell Pierce, absolutely key for this game. Because I really now actually have a way to lose here. I mean, it's not completely unreasonable that I could fail to draw a third blue mana, or just fail to draw land for a while and get stuck too far behind. But I've got the Spell Pierce. And now Zur's going to do what Zur does best. Necro. And we're gonna pay some life. I think I necroed for 14 there or something. Certainly enough to elicit a concession. The thing is I guess maybe he should have cast his Beast Within immediately on his turn. I think that's definitely a misplay. I mean, I was tapped down to 1 blue mana, and if you're planning on casting a spell, like if it's a no-brainer that you're going to cast something like preventing Zur from attacking you, you should probably cast it when your opponent has 1 mana available versus 5. But ultimately it didn't matter because I did have the Spell Pierce imprinted. But I thought a pretty cool game right here. It's definitely a reason why this general, I think, is just vastly superior to Oloro. If you manage to get your general out and get him to stick and attack 1 time, the rest of the game kind of becomes academic. You don't need to worry about all of the defensive capabilities and getting tons of mana into play and figuring out a strategy to win like the way you do with Oloro when you have this guy, and all you really need to do is attack once and let Necropotence do the rest of the work for you. Anyway, I've got more games to come. Hope you enjoyed that one. See ya.